Not all headaches are created equal. Some are just annoying, right? Some are completely debilitating. But there's one type that's basically your brain screaming at you that something catastrophic is happening. And knowing how to recognize it, well, that could be the difference between life and death. That is the exact phrase a 34-year-old graphic designer used to describe the moment her world completely fell apart. Imagine this. She's in a meeting, feeling totally fine 1 second, and the next, bam, an instantaneous, explosive pain. She figured, oh, it's just a really bad migraine. But she was dangerously, dangerously wrong. And that's the terrifying reality here. A blood vessel inside her brain had just ruptured. Every single second she sat in that meeting, trying to just push through the pain, her chances of survival were plummeting. So picture it. She's in a conference room. To everyone else, she probably just looks a little stressed out. But inside her own head, a bomb has literally just detonated. The pain is a 10 out of 10, and it got there in a flash. 15 minutes. That's how long she waited. She waited 15 minutes to finish a meeting while her brain was actively bleeding. And neurologists will tell you, they see this all the time. It's a delay that almost costs her absolutely everything. So what is this killer headache really? Well, doctors have a name for it, and honestly, it's brutally accurate. A thunderclap headache. Just think about it for a second. Thunder doesn't build up slowly, does it? No, it's instant. It's maximum intensity with zero warning. Okay, this right here is the absolute key. It's not just about how severe the pain is. It's about the speed. It goes from 0 to the worst pain of your entire life in less than a minute. That suddenness, that is the brain's emergency alarm. And this is really where the line is drawn in the sand. Your typical migraine or tension headache, it kind of builds up, it gives you some warning, but a thunderclap headache, it's an ambush. It's instantaneous. So if you've had headaches your whole life and this one feels completely different, that is the biggest red flag you could possibly get. It's kind of chilling, but neurosurgeons say they hear these exact same descriptions over and over and over again. This isn't just a bad headache. It's a uniquely violent, terrifying experience. The fact that so many people describe it the same way tells you this is a very distinct, very serious medical event. Okay, so what is actually happening inside the skull to cause this unbelievable kind of pain? The crucial thing to get here is that the headache isn't really the problem. It's the symptom. It's the fire alarm telling you the building is burning down. This is the big one, subarachnoid hemorrhage. Yeah, it's a mouthful. But what it means is a specific type of brain bleed, and it's the #1 cause of a thunderclap headache. Blood is literally pouring into the delicate space that surrounds your brain. And it's just this terrifying chain reaction. It all starts with a little weak spot in a blood vessel, an aneurysm, kind of like a balloon that's been overinflated. Then, poof, it bursts, and blood, which is toxic to brain cells, floods the area. And since your skull is a sealed box, the pressure inside skyrockets. That sudden, violent spike in pressure, that is the thunderclap. Now, while a ruptured aneurysm is the most common culprit, it's not the only one. Any of these things, a stroke, a tear in an artery in your neck, a sudden spasm of your blood vessels, they're all life-threatening emergencies that can pull the exact same fire alarm. The bottom line is, a thunderclap headache is always a sign of something awful happening. Okay, so we've defined the problem, we know how scary it is. Now for what might be the most important part of this entire explainer. What do you actually do? How do you know if you or someone you're with needs to call 911 right now? This is your checklist. This is it. If the answer is yes to these questions, especially those first two about the speed and the severity, you do not wait. And pay really close attention to number 4. If you're also vomiting or feeling confused, those are massive, massive warning signs. Think of this list as your personal fire alarm. I really can't say this any clearer. You call an ambulance, you do not drive. Why? Well, because you could lose consciousness or even have a seizure behind the wheel. Paramedics can start treatment right away, and they know which hospitals are equipped to handle a brain emergency. Making that call is your best chance, period. So, if the warning sign is so clear and the action to take is so simple, why on earth do so many people wait? And this is the really tragic part of the story. Because, the human brain is just fantastic at rationalizing away danger. We've all done this with smaller things, right? We tell ourselves, oh, it's just stress. We don't want to make a fuss or cause a scene, especially if we're at work or out in public. But with a brain bleed, these very common, very human reactions can be fatal. And this is exactly what happens when we rationalize. This poor guy had a sudden, severe headache, and he was vomiting, so he explained it away. Must be food poisoning. By going to sleep, he was unknowingly signing his own death warrant. Oh, this one is just heartbreaking. A 19-year-old worried about her final exam, just toughing it out. That sense of responsibility, that need to not quit, it led to irreversible brain damage. The window they had to help her closed while she was filling in bubbles on a test. So let's circle all the way back to where we started, back to that graphic designer in the meeting, trying her best to pretend the world wasn't ending inside her own head. The thing is, she was downplaying it. She was just going to try and wait it out. It took someone else, her boss, to notice she looked pale and to insist on calling for help. That one intervention by another person is the only reason she survived. And this is her message to everyone now. No one else can feel what you're feeling. There are no external signs until it's way, way too late. You are the only one who knows the pain is that sudden and that severe. You have to be your own biggest advocate. You know, our bodies have all these warning systems. Most of them are just subtle whispers. A thunderclap headache is not a whisper. It is the loudest, most urgent, blaring alarm your brain can possibly sound. Your only job is to listen and act on it. We've spent this time talking about how to react when that alarm goes off. But what if you could know your risk before it ever happens? Some people are walking around with hidden risk factors that make a brain aneurysm way more likely. Factors you can identify right now. Knowing them is the first step to diffusing that bomb before it ever has a chance to go off. And that's exactly what we're going to explore next.